commitment and loyalty, not just to the democratic process that it represents, but the rigor that it provides from time to time, notwithstanding the level, of course, of bantering that may come on either side. And we regard that as very solid and good for the purpose of a vigorous debate and very robust discussions and discourses. Madam Speaker, my Ministry of Tourism, I wish to give a fulsome review of our performance in the last year and then to look at the thoughts as we move forward into this post and immediate pandemic period. Madam Speaker, I do not take this responsibility lightly, nor for granted. I accept it with humility as I continue to serve the people of Jamaica. The year that passed was not an easy one, but with God on our side, we have been on the right track, recovering stronger and sustainably. As a result, Madam Speaker, it would be remiss of me to proceed without thanking the Almighty, who is the source of all blessings. I would not be here if it were not for his strength and guidance. I also commend our Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, for his strong leadership during these incredibly challenging times. I thank him for the confidence he has placed in me to lead a ministry that is vital to the survival and growth of this country, as well as the added responsibility of being leader of government business in the House. I am grateful for his continued faith in me to serve alongside my colleagues in the Cabinet. I also want to express my gratitude to you, Madam Speaker, and of course to Madam Speaker herself, wherever she is listening, as well as to you, Madam Deputy Speaker and Acting Speaker, the Clerk of the House. And I really feel honored that as leader of the House, when her appointment was actually made. And Ms. Curtis, we want to congratulate you and to thank you for the wonderful work, the tremendous contribution that you are making to this great Parliament. The hardworking staff of this Honourable House for the vital role they all play in guiding the activities of our country's legislature. I express my gratitude to my fellow ministers, their staff and government agencies, particularly those who whose work indeed has a direct impact on the Ministry of Tourism. Even if we see things from various viewpoints, we all work together in the best interests of Jamaica. I must acknowledge our Senator Janice Allen, the opposition spokesperson on tourism, for her contribution to the development of the tourism product. Collaboration and the sharing of ideas have indeed been a feature of our relationship since her appointment. And I think that, I'd like to make note of that in this present moment. I would like to thank my permanent secretary, Ms. Jennifer Griffith, who has been very integral to the success of our sector. She has led the ministry diligently with grace and dignity over the years. I really want to thank her because much of the achievements that we talk about in the ministry can be laid at the feet of our permanent secretary, Jennifer Griffith, and the team. I also want to thank the hard-working members of the ministry, every department, every agency of the ministry, all the chairmen, the chairpersons, all the board members, and the executive directors of the various agencies. Indeed, for us, tourism is a family, and the management of it has been a corporate effort. And I really want to share this moment of gratitude, so that it is well recorded by Hansard and everybody else. I also wish to acknowledge our partners and stakeholders in the industry overall for their contribution to the recovery of our very lucrative and essential tourism sector. I especially want to thank the President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, Mr. Clifton Reeder, and his executive, as well as the past President, Omar Robinson, for their cooperation and support Indeed, when the real stories are told about the recovery, and a bit of it will be said, the names of Clifton Reeder et al. Will definitely be enshrined therein. To the people of East Central St. James, who have given me the privilege of being here, and for them it's 20 years continuous service, 5 times and still going. I really want to thank you for the confidence that you have bestowed in me over the years, re-electing me every time by a larger majority on each occasion, and on the last one, 4,200. And I think that's a worthy moment to recall. The incredible work that you've done with us over the years, we've done a number of very important things in the constituency. Education, of course, is the centerpiece of our efforts, and we have educated and provided opportunities for advancement in academia for thousands of children in the constituency. Today we have scholars in every university in Jamaica. Every high school in Jamaica, and we have medical students as far afield as China to graduate within a year. And I'm proud to say from my constituency, around me in the team of my own immediate leadership, are students who graduated from the East Central Education Program. The latest one just graduated as a lawyer and is now a practicing lawyer while at the same time working with us. We are very proud of this achievement. Health has been a big part of the program, and we are proud that we've been able to build out a new and exciting possibility for infrastructure improvement in the Rose Hall area, so that now we have a modern health center, and we want to thank the Minister of Health, through JSIF, for this. And for the first time, the eastern side of Montego Bay now has a modern community health center that can deal with more than 9,000 residents. We're very pleased, in fact, that through the Atlanta Montego Bay Sister Committee Community Program and the Victoria House Foundation, we were able to establish a program for some 138 tablets for 25 centers across the constituency, involving, in addition, 25 personal computers for the young people of the Adelphi area. My Eds Tulips, who continue to be the guiding star in the constituency as they move from house to house, dealing with social problems. And these young people I'm so excited about because they are so committed to the social development of the areas. They deal with the elderly. They try to assist the sick and the needy, and they carry through the care package programs that have been going in the constituency, particularly during this period of the pandemic. Last but by no means least, Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank my immediate family, who have been a source of great motivation and support to me. My dear wife, Carmen, of 48 years, and my son and grandchildren have stuck to me through thick and thin, and I am glad that we continue to enjoy happiness together and good health. Madam Speaker, my presentation today will be done in 2 parts. Firstly, I will focus on the state of the industry. Then I will move into the policies, plans, and activities that are being undertaken to continue recovering stronger and sustainably from the COVID-19 pandemic. Madam Speaker, I'm happy to share that the global tourism industry figures now indicate that we are well on the road to recovery from this pandemic, which undoubtedly was one of the most economic and social crises of our lifetime. Governments across the world face tough choices on how to balance livelihood and lives, which required unprecedented action and global collaboration. According to the UNWTO, global tourism experienced a 4% downturn in 2021 compared to 2020. And that is to say, Madam Speaker, it fell from 415 million, in fact, to 400 million. In addition, If international mobility and travel are resumed by June of this year, Madam Speaker, the 62 million jobs lost in 2020, and this is very important, could be returned before the end of 2022, therefore powering global economic recovery. Global tourism's direct gross domestic product rose by 19% in 2021 to 1.9 trillion, as each tourist spending, Madam Speaker, increased, and they stayed much longer in destinations. Meanwhile, travel and tourism could generate this year, in global terms, 8.6 trillion US dollars, according to the new research by WTTC, which is a 6.4% increase over the previous period and only slightly below the pre-pandemic period. Madam Speaker, the Caribbean itself saw the best performance of 2021. In fact, we had an increase of 63% over 2020, with the same distinct destinations, showing close action, and Jamaica in particular, Madam Speaker, was a star in all of this. The Southern Mediterranean and Europe increased by 57%, Central America increased by 54%, North America only 17%, Central Europe 18%, but these numbers, Madam Speaker, must be measured against the background that these are the two largest markets in the world, among the two largest. So their percentage increase, although it's not so high, doesn't reflect the number of individuals who have actually come back into the tourism space. So the CTO, which is our Caribbean tourism organization, remain bullish about the recovery of tourism in the region, with the expectation that the industry will bounce back to pre-pandemic levels by 23-24. So, Madam Speaker, if we continue to work together and maintain our coordinated approach to marketing our destinations as safe, seamless, and secure, we can achieve a true rebound by pre-COVID to our former pre-COVID levels. Madam Speaker, like tourism economies globally, the pandemic and related containment measures hit Jamaica very hard. And this resulted, of course, in a staggering loss of jobs, businesses, and earnings across the industry. In 2020, Jamaica's economy declined by 10.2%, and the hotels and restaurant industry declined by 53.5%. Tourism ended the year with an estimated loss of $2.3 billion US dollars. In 2021, although the fallout was not as great, the estimated tourism loss were a staggering $1.6 billion US dollars. The good news, Madam Speaker, is that like other world tourism economies, our tourism sector showed early resilience and an ability to rebound quickly with a steady growth in its visitor arrivals. Indeed, Madam Speaker, in 2021, we showed significant promise as we started to recover from the impact of the pandemic. The PIOJ for January to December reported that we added some 4.4% to the growth of our GDP, i.e. the value added for that period overall. And of that, tourism through hotels and restaurants led the way with a 36.4% overall. Followed by, of course, construction with 9.1, agriculture and fisheries at 7.9, and the rest of the statistics are there. Additionally, Madam Speaker, the tourism sector, and more specifically hotels and restaurants, recorded 3 solid quarters of consecutive growth for the fiscal year 21-22. And I'm sure we are, when the results come out for the last quarter, the fourth quarter, we will show that tourism has recorded 4 consecutive quarters of growth. And just for the record, the first quarter, April to June, tourism grew by 334.6%. July to September, 114.6%. October to December, 76.2%. And the projections that we have, which are not yet official, and PIOJ will no doubt come with that, is going to show that we are in high double-digit growth again for the fourth quarter. This, Madam Speaker, is indicating that at the end of 2021, we brought in 1.6 million visitors and earned $2 billion for Jamaica. Madam Speaker, the period January to December 21, Jamaica earned 5.5 billion Jamaican dollars from GART. You know what the GART is? And I wanted to make this point, Minister Clark, because it will help the opposition spokesman on finance as well as, I'm sure, the leader of the opposition in understanding the revenue projections that you made in your budget presentation. So in 2021, tourism provided $5.5 billion for the guest accommodation room tax and GCT. And when compared to 2020, which was only $3.1 billion. So what we had in that 1 year was a 77% increase in tourism revenue just from GART alone. So now, when you add everything together, Madam Speaker, and you look at the contribution overall for airport charges, taxes, cruise taxes, TEF collection, and the GART, as well as the general consumption tax, what we found was that tourism, which in fact had contributed $54 billion of that revenue in 2019, was actually down, and the minister said that, to somewhere in the region of $13 billion in 2020. And in 2021, we went up back now to 42, and we are trending based on not just the numbers that he has put in, but the fact of how the industry is growing to surpass the 2019 contribution of $54 billion Jamaican dollars to the revenues of Jamaica. So I think that will help you very well in understanding why is it that our Prime Minister of Finance could come with another budget with no new taxes. Madam Speaker, as tourism industry continues to grow, it is proving to be a year of great importance for us. I want to make the final point in relation to that performance, Madam Speaker, in terms of the workers, because it is to be recalled that we lost some 130,000 workers during the pandemic. And I'm very pleased to advise that the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association is estimating now that 90% of the workers of the industries have been brought back into full-time in the accommodation subsector alone, and 70% of the workers in the attraction subsector are back on the job. According to Statin, the total tourism labor force for October 2021 was 153,200, which represented 89% of the 2019 tourism labor force, which was 170,900. So, Madam Speaker, so as tourism industry continues to grow, 2022 is proving to be promising. Year to date so far, in the first 3 months, we have seen over 480,000 stopover and cruise visitors, with weekend after weekend of record arrivals in the last few weeks. This should see, Madam Speaker, the closing of the first 4 months, which is our traditional tourist season, with 925,000 stopover arrivals and cruise, and for the country to earn $1.17 billion within that period. I'm pleased to say that we're expecting to close 2022 with total visitor arrival of 2.92 million for a total revenue of 3.58 billion. And Madam Speaker, it's important to recognize the value of this earning, because if you recall, when the pandemic hit, we had earned 3.7 billion, and that was the highest peak in our earning. In this first year of recovery, we are now projecting to be 3.58 billion, just under 200 million shy of our best performance ever. These figures, Madam Speaker, underscore that the tourism sector is a driving force behind Jamaica's post-COVID-19 economic recovery. According to Statin, Jamaica achieved impressive growth of 6.7% in the fourth quarter of 2021. And tourism, of course, led the way in driving significant growth in the overall economy and other industries. For the fiscal year 21-22, based on the recovery, the tourism sector contribution to Jamaica's revenue approximated 70% of the 2019 to 2020 revenue numbers. This signals strong recovery of the sector and the importance of its contribution to government revenue and the economy. Madam Speaker, the improvements reflected, in fact, the impact of increased demand, particularly from the tourism sector itself, which has grown with the relaxation of COVID-19 measures, as well as the steps taken to improve the output from the sector. I'm extremely proud of how our tourism sector and partners like the JHTA rallied in the midst of uncertainty to get the industry back on track and to get our tourism workers back on the job. Because of this hard work and unity of purpose, the future of tourism is looking bright.